Where do I go with all these feelings and all these faces and open doors when everyone else seems so serene and I just feel so insecure? And where do I go when all the pieces of my heart lay on the floor? You say, come into the light, why don't you? Come into the light, why don't you? Come on now, come into the light. Where do I go with all these memories and all these bags filled up with shame? And how should I feel when you call me an angel and dress me in a crown of gold? And what should I do when tears of sorrow just won't stay inside these eyes? You say, come into the light, why don't you? Come into the light, why don't you? Come on now, come into the light. What should I do when a gentle-handed reaches out to take my own? And how should I feel when tears of joy, they just won't stay inside these eyes? And what will I do when I start to love you and really trust and know you're there? You say, you'll be in the light where I am. You'll be in the light where I am. Come on now, come into the light. You'll be in the light where I am. You'll be in the light where I am. Come on now, come into the light.
Good evening, Om Shanti, and a warm welcome to everyone on this platform on Sunday Special Talk. I welcome you with these wonderful flowers from Lighthouse, and a special welcome to our facilitator, main speaker, Sister Brahma Kumari, Nina Bookman, all the way from UK. Can you please give spotlight to the guest, please, speaker? Sister Nina, would you mind? Wow, that's really good. And wow, nice to see you, Nina, been after so many years.
Yes, it's very good to see all of you too. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. And all these flowers are for you, all
Why,
the
thank
way,
you so much.
Lighthouse,
Thank you.
Lagos. And also, I want to show you, we have very good, beautiful Easter eggs made. These Easter eggs for all of you, but these Easter eggs are totally different. They speak about peace and nobility, mercy, love, truth, respect, tolerance, happiness, royalty, honesty, what not. There are plenty such Easter eggs.
A
And
basket,
all of them, basket of eggs, yes.
basket of Easter eggs of virtues.
Yes, here you can see like there's a basket
Qualities
of
and virtues.
qualities and virtues.
Yes.
World needs these things. This is the need of the hour. So I welcome you all once again to this Sunday special talk. And today is a special topic. That is, we are all celebrating Easter, and the topic is Eternal Easter Egg. We Brahma Kumaris do spirituality. We practice both practically and spiritually. What is practically and spiritually? Because one is theory and one is practicals. So we practice spirituality, that is in action. And today, the theory part has given us a lot of attention on certain wisdoms, jewels of wisdom. We were told that we all belong to the golden age, that is heaven, and we all are from Sun dynasty. And Sun comes out from the east. And today, we are celebrating eternal Easter egg topic. And so Easter, I take the word East. And so I was trying to think about this Easter might have, it's all about bringing light into your life. And sun comes only in the east, which means the brightness, the light of all goodness, the light of God. When you invoke in the life, which means that you're brightening your life, you're brightening your soul, and you're brightening your future. World is really craving for this light because enough of all the sufferings in the darkness of ignorance. It is said that ignorance is dangerous than death. So I'm sure that we need to understand our truth because we all are not going to die. We all are eternal beings. We have this innate quality of being eternal. So when we are connected to our eternity, that's when we can embrace everything in reality. So we'll understand more about eternity, more about Easter, more about eggs. Who doesn't love eggs? Not the eating ones, but the feeling ones that we are ourselves an egg, because there's nothing without an egg, which means the seed, the beginning. So there's always a question, is the egg or the hen which is first? I feel it is the egg which is first, because God is the eternal seed, the eternal egg from which everything started. We'll explore more about these things with our today's speaker, Sister B.K. Nina Buchanan, currently semi-retired, and she is a professional, having a corporate management background. Her personal journey has influenced her interest in the development of value-based learning. Spirituality has to come from the heart, come from within. It cannot be a force. It cannot be through an influence of anything. A situation can influence you, but you cannot continue. To have a constant spiritual life, it has to come from within. So we will also ask Sister Nina, what exactly happened when this thing has come from within you, that you really, having that wonderful constant smile on your face. We are sure that you have attained something. So please share your secrets. And Sister Nina has been practicing meditation from past 24 years. She's a trained, independent funeral celebrant, living values education facilitator, meditation practitioner, family dynamics coach, and a personality development trainer. Wow, that's a very powerful combination. I also want to acknowledge the presence of all those wonderful souls from London, Lagos, Italy, Ghana, Bharat, and also Brother Kinwa is around. Brother Kinwa, would you mind to on your video, please? Am I audible, Brother Kinwa?
Yes,
It's a great pleasure to have Brother Kinwa, and I'm sure that when he is comfortable, he will open the video. Welcome. In case if you can put your name, we really know you. instead of ITEL A5, Vodafone, iPhone. Your names are much better than these names. So please put your name. Thank you so much. Now the platform is yours. Sister, Om Shanti. Once again, welcome.
So, Shanti, Sister Gutami, thank you very much for inviting me to this event, the Eternal Easter Egg. When I first was told of the title, I thought, "Ooh, I've never come across that term before." And I said to Baba, "Baba, what is that all about?" And he told me immediately. It was as if someone just, because I was really quite busy when I was given the title. And so I, I kind of heard it, but because I was distracted, it was like I didn't hear it, but I heard it. And the thought was, I did a double take in that I thought, well, eternal Easter egg. What is that, Baba? And continue to do what I was doing. And it was as if someone just tapped me on the shoulders and said, "Me, it's me, Shiv Baba." And I thought, oh, of course. Oh, of course. And yes, so it's a privilege to be speaking with you this afternoon about the eternal Easter egg. And as you know, the Easter egg is celebrated, or it's a symbol of something very significant in the Christian religion. And I really feel that it's really wonderful that we've actually put ourselves in a position where we are able to identify parallels as peoples of different religions, identify parallels in achieving oneness as a global family. That really enables us to connect those dots. And I'm talking about the different religions, the different sects, the different cults, the different organizations, and so on. It's really a wonderful thing to connect the dots that make up this maze, this kind of network of different ideologies and belief systems that the human world tree comprises. And in this way, what we're doing is that we are unable to see the link between ourselves and our connection to that one eternal source of light and life and light, as Sister Gutami was talking about earlier on. So I just want to say thank you, Sister Gutami, for sharing so deeply, you know, your bit of understanding of this, the Easter egg, the eternal Easter egg. And I will also talk about my current spiritual understanding of the eternal Easter egg. But I feel that it's very important also to say that I can relate to some of the concepts in the Christian religion, being brought up, raised in a Christian environment in the Caribbean. So in understanding this concept of I'm going to be talking about my spiritual understanding as I am now, but I'm also going to be talking about drawing those parallels between what I understand now and what ideas, what concepts, what beliefs there are around the Easter egg within the Christian religion. So in understanding the concept of the eternal Easter egg, you know, my spiritual teaching and practice of meditation for that period of time, 24 years, provide me with the understanding that everything we experience, when I say we, I'm not talking about BKs, I'm talking about the world, the human family, the human family on this planet at the moment. Everything we experience on this physical level has a spiritual, that is a non-physical explanation. In other words, everything physical starts as energy, consciousness, or you could say awareness. So everything starts, as you know, we all know, at that level of energy. So if I cut my finger, it's, the whatever it is that led me to do that accidentally is energy. Whatever it is that's going on in my life that occurs on a physical level, where I can experience it on this physical level, it comes from something subtle, something energetic that is taking place within my mind. So God, the supreme soul, represents for me the highest source of light. It's the eternal egg, the one egg amongst all eggs that we will ever encounter. And the existence of this first egg, which is where everything that is consciousness begins. So that influences our understanding, our concept of the egg on the physical level, in the physical world that we live in. So we see with the eyes of the physical due to the fact that we occupy bodies. In a sense, we become the body and have taken on the mindset of the body because we have been practicing being bodies for over such a long period of time that we have forgotten that we're really souls. So we've, in a sense, taken on the mindset of the body, and it's very difficult for us to translate something like an Easter egg into a subtle, energetic, uh, past that occurred along the way to make it physical. Okay, so in our teachings, in my spiritual teachings, fertilization, because we know that the egg, there has to be fertilization that takes place. So it's, we could say that God came at a particular point in time and did something to cause that fertilization to take place. And the embryo began to develop. So in our spiritual teachings, fertilization occurs and the embryo, the seed, begins to develop in a period when God, the supreme soul, comes at a time of total degradation of our consciousness. And through this, a birth, shall we say, mankind in this moment or at this time is gradually experiencing a spiritual awakening on a global scale. So basically, the egg is in symbolic of birth. It's symbolic of rebirth. It's symbolic of the dawn. It's symbolic of the new age. It is symbolic of something new. And it's interesting that Easter is celebrated in the first quarter, or the first, shall we say, the first quarter, the first season, the first quarter of the year. And I think there is an analogy there to be drawn to what the Christians do or understand in relation to what my spiritual teachings explain about the different ages and the cycle of time. It's very interesting. So we can talk a bit further about that. So basically, what I'm saying is that at this particular point in time, we are going through a gradual transformation of human consciousness on a global scale. And it may be evident in some places and not evident in other places, but certainly it may be that we see things have become more, some things have become more degraded, but on another hand, there are people who are making a lot of effort to make the world a better place. So I was talking about the time when fertilization takes place and when the embryo begins to develop. So in my spiritual teachings, we refer to this period when fertilization, as in the case of the egg, takes place, we refer to it as the confluence age, the confluence age. And to explain it a bit further, we're talking about the bridge between the old and the new. And we can also relate that to our own lives, for example, when we've been really enjoying something, maybe a friendship, and we begin to, having enjoyed it for a period of time, to the extent where one may be really attached to the other, there comes a time when one wants, one can feel that need to step back from that relationship for whatever reason. That's what I mean about the bridge between the old and the new, because that separation doesn't actually take place immediately. There is a period of time during which that separation is taking place, and gradually, those two people create that distance between them where it enables them to be their own person. And that's a rebirth. That's a rebirth, or that's a new birth. So that explains the gestation period and what happens in that time. So as I was saying, we believe that we are in that period of time, and as do many other spiritual beliefs. So there are kind of parallels to be drawn with the Christian religion. We know that the development stages of the embryo protected by the shell of the egg, which is actually symbolic of the tomb of Jesus. And whilst the body of Jesus was in the tomb for 3 days, the tomb was being guarded. I remember that much because I went to Sunday school as a child. The tomb was being guarded so that it could not be attacked by, those people who were against the religion. So, and then after 3 days, the Jesus rose from the dead, and the resurrection took place, and Christ was incarnated. into the body of Jesus. So the resurrection of Christ, this period refers to the time of gestation, that period when just before the resurrection is that period of gestation when the development of the embryo is protected to ensure to enable it to reach its developmental stage, to reach its full potential, shall I say. So the tomb of Jesus is symbolic of the egg protecting the body, followed by the resurrection and the incarnation of Christ, depicting a new birth. In our teachings, this new birth is referred to as the Golden Age. And it's also the first season in the year of 12 months. First season in the 4 different seasons within that 12-month period. And it's interesting that we are in the Easter period is at the beginning of spring. Interesting, isn't it? So this is a period when we move in terms of what my spiritual teachings is about. This is a period when we move from duality into non-duality. So it's a period when we move away from the darkness of consciousness, the degradation of consciousness, that bridge that I referred to earlier on, as we move from the old to the new. So we're moving from duality, where we have good, bad, right, wrong, we have negative thoughts, we have positive thoughts. So at the moment, whilst we are in gestation, we are practicing to think more positively. And when we practice to think more positively over a long period of time, we become that. We become that. I mentioned earlier on that after spending such a long time being physical, not remembering that we are non-physical beings, that we are non-physical beings. The body has become the mind. It's like we can't be positive because we have practiced being negative, having negative thoughts for such a long period of time. But moving from duality into non-duality, which is referred to as heaven, and with reference to the Bible, it's the Garden of Eden. And this period is established through the change in consciousness. In other words, a new birth of those who've reached their fullest potential, their fullest spiritual potential during the gestation period or the confluence age, or from that journey from the old to the new. So, as I mentioned, the eternal Easter egg also symbolizes the seed of the human world tree. And it's fertilized when humanity has reached its peak of total degradation and darkness. I mentioned that earlier on, but not with reference to the tree. And there is naturally, as with the idea of an ordinary egg, a period during which the embryo develops in the womb just before the dawn, the birth of the new age, the first season, which culminates into a cycle. And each year at Easter, the symbol of the egg is used to understand the significance of the time. So there is a very important parallel to be drawn with what the Christian religion understands and what we as Raj Yoga meditation practitioners understand. There's a very important parallel to be drawn between what the Christians are saying and our concept of the confluence moving into a golden aged era. The analogy of the seed and its relationship with the rest of the tree, being the roots. So the seed, the roots, the trunk, the branches, the twigs, and the leaves, they are all expressions of the essence of the one seed, and that one seed, the eternal Easter egg, the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. And that seed is not a physical seed, of course. It's a spiritual seed. It's a non-physical seed. And it's interesting, but that seed is depicted in the form of an oval shape, which is the same shape as an egg. Isn't that interesting? That's a very real, and that oval shaped egg really is literally light. There is nothing physical about it. Now, I just want to talk about bringing this idea of as above, so below. So in order to make it tangible, that understanding, because when we talk about things which are non-physical, when we talk about energy, because we are so focused in physicality, we're so focused on matter, it's very difficult for us to grasp the whole idea that everything starts with energy. Everything that happens here has an energetic, as a spiritual explanation. So there is a phrase, as above, so below. And what I want to explain about this in relation to this talk is that in the process of procreation, what we do at this level, because there's a very strong relationship with how we function, is based on that, the idea of the egg and what takes place at the developmental stage, the fertilization and the developmental stage. So in the process of procreation, we can see and we can understand that the same principle applies with God as being the seed, the eternal Easter egg. So as human souls, when I talk about human souls, I'm not talking about souls with bodies. I'm talking about points of light. And that in itself, those points of light in themselves are little eggs. Isn't that wonderful? They are little eggs. So as human souls, we are the eternal chicks. We are the children that emerge from the eternal Easter egg. Okay, so that's us on a more subtle level as souls, as points of light. At this level, as human beings, as human souls, human beings, should we say, we take bodies We become human beings. We then come onto the stage, so we get hatched. There's fertilization that takes place. The embryo develops, we are born, we come onto the stage of action. We come onto the world stage of action, to experience and express life. Life does not exist on the subtle level. Life is life only on this level. I'm alive means I'm in a body. I have a body to move around in. It's like the driver without the car is not a driver. I hope that makes sense. So as human souls, we take bodies, we come onto the stage of action, the world stage, to experience and express life here on the physical level. So like the actor, so we are all actors because we're on a stage and we're playing a part based on a script, the same as in the theater and on the film set that we are accustomed to on this level. So as above, so below. As below, it's interesting, isn't it? There is such an amazing correlation with as above, so below. So procreation at this level where we're at takes on a similar meaning that is really symbolic of the egg. However, at this level, where we are human beings, not souls, where we're human beings, the egg isn't eternal at all. The egg is not eternal. It's at the highest, most supreme level, the non-physical, where the egg is eternal. It is the source of all life. And it kind of replicates itself on different levels of our existence. It's very, very interesting. Yes, so just going back to Jesus and the resurrection. So Jesus, there was a resurrection. He died on the cross. He was laid in a tomb. The fertilization took place, and in that tomb for 3 days, that process was taking place. The egg was being protected. And then it was time for the birth to occur. And a new life and a new age began. So going back to what my spiritual teachings tell me, it's that at the end, once this supreme soul comes to remind us, it's like the humans, as human souls, it's like we're children. We are still his children, even though we have bodies, because we are eternal. We cannot die. But although we have got bodies and we've forgotten him, he still remembers us. And it's like we have been let out to play as this cycle of time unfolded. We've been let out to play. It's like we were all nice and clean and pure, and we were not hungry at all. We were just lovely, clean children. We went out to play, and we had such fun that we'd forgotten where we came from, who we are. And then we found ourselves really being tired, hungry, and dirty, and wanting to get back home to sleep, to rest in the comfort of our home. And then at that time, that's when the fertilization takes place. God comes, he gathers up his children, and there is that process of the period when the embryo is being developed. So that's the period of the gradual spiritual awakening that we are experiencing as humanity on the globe at the moment. So we are facing the opposite side of the bridge where we're coming from. Our backs are to where the old, and we are facing the new. And it may not seem that some of us are facing the new, but we are not necessarily in charge. The cycle of time is in charge, and the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, the eternal Easter egg is in charge. I want to stop here and see whether or not there are any questions for clarification here, because I've said quite a lot. So can you direct me, Sister Gautami, whether or not this is possible? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Nina, for that wonderful connection that you have given from Bible as well. And I'm sure that it will leave souls who are hearing to think more about those, what you spoke. I would like everyone also to contribute, as this is a very small family, as I saw. And we are very fortunate to have Divine Brother, Archbishop Roberts. And I think his video is also on. I request him to switch on his audio and kindly please share the greetings of Easter. Is this Geonym M6 belongs to Brother Roberts? Geonym M6, can you please open your audio? Good evening, Divine Brother. Good evening. Do you mind to give this photo? Yes, thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to this wonderful gathering and happy Easter to you.
Happy Easter to you. Thank you.
Would you mind to introduce yourself, brother?
I'm Dr. Funsho.
Dr. Funsho, how is it that I didn't recognize you? I'm so sorry. Welcome.
Yes.
Dr. Funsho works. Thank you so much. I'm fine. Because I never saw you like this, so I didn't recognize. So, Dr. Funsho, please introduce yourself to Sister Nina.
Well, Mr. Nina, I'm about UK, many years, based in Lagos and Abuja. And I love the philosophies of faith so much. And I'm just participating in that. Thank you.
Yes, I couldn't hear what you were saying, brother, because the volume was quite low. Yes.
Quite enough. He said
So
that
it's very difficult for me
he
to respond.
travels from Lagos to Abuja.
Yes.
His family is in Abuja, but he also travels to Lagos because of work. He works with government.
Yes.
And he likes the philosophy of BK's, the perspective of towards different things. And so he has been listening from a long period of time.
Okay. Okay. So
I
what
think Archbishop Roberts is not there in the gathering because of his internet. He has sent a message.
Okay.
And so Brother Kinua also has no camera that he can on. He's operating and connecting through a system where there is no camera. But I'm glad that he's listening to us. And if he can speak few words, it will be really nice.
Yes. Or if anyone has any questions that they
If
might.
anybody has any question in this regard, yes.
Yeah. So
Sister
we are the
Carmen.
eggs.
We are the eggs, yes. We are in essence. We have Sister Hina from Ikoyi.
Yes, we're made in the image and likeness of the eternal Easter egg. And we are also chicks which were hatched from the eternal Easter egg. Every single one of us, it doesn't matter where we are and who we are. It's wonderful. We are points of light. Those little
Thank you
oval
so
shapes.
much for that perspective that we are the chicks which has been hatched. I was thinking we are still in that embryonic stage. Why you said we are already hatched?
No, well, actually, no, we are, well, in fact, but we are in that embryonic state as we move towards the end, the new. So we are still in that embryonic state, but we are still points of light in there. With the potential is there to be, yes.
That's really excellent.
Wonderful. Did you
Kamleshwar, would you like to speak? Yes, please.
Did you have any other ideas of what the eternal Easter egg means? Because one could come up with so many different ideas of what the meaning of the eternal Easter egg. And I would just love to hear if anybody else has any other ideas, any other suggestions.
Yes. Kamleshwar.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Good afternoon, Sister Om Shanti. Yes,
Shanti.
that's why I wanted to have a conversation. All those years, I have been buying Easter eggs without any knowledge of egg being embryonic and the procreation takes place and how the Jesus came forth. And I thought the Christ was born through Virgin Mary, and you're talking about the eggs. So, which I'm a bit
no,
lost.
Christ was incarnated. Christ did not have a physical birth. Christ was incarnated. There's a difference between rebirth and
incarnation.
Between rebirth in the physical sense, compared with the word incarnation. You know, the soul of Christ came into the body of Jesus. And used Jesus's body to give his teachings throughout the world for however long he did. Yes?
So similarly, like we talk about Brahma Baba and Shiv Baba in a nutshell.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So how the Shiv Baba goes into Brahma Baba and then gives us the knowledge. So you have given us so many analogies and so many correlations. So I just wanted to know that in Christianity, do they talk about soul openly? And do you talk about reincarnation?
Okay, I think it's very important to say that for some reason, I didn't practice Christianity as an adult. As a child, I was exposed to Christianity because my family, you know, I used to be sent to Sunday school. My parents did not even go to church, but we would go to be sent to Sunday school. It was a way of making sure that we were brought up in the right way. Yes?
Yeah.
So it's very difficult. I don't really know the Bible very well. From what little I know, that I based the talk on what little I knew. Yeah.
So your talk is based mostly about the Brahma Kumaris education
Yes,
then?
of course, because
Oh,
I've been a Brahma
excellent.
Kumaris for the past 24 years. It's what I
So,
practice. Yes.
so do you give your talk in the churches or to Christians?
Once I did, but it's not that I wouldn't do it again. I took a group of people from another church to Mount Abu many years ago.
Oh,
And they met, one of them met Baba and the others went to the Peace of Mind retreat. So that was very good. And really they just went back to their religion and did what they needed to do. They continued, and it's a beautiful success story, really.
excellent. Nice talking to you and
Thank you.
checking on these few small points.
Yes,
And yeah, it's
thank
been interesting to hear you. Thank you,
Thank you.
sister. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sister. In case if anyone want to ask any other question also in relation with Bible, you're free to talk to Sister Nina.
Or it could be not just the Bible, it could be just a straightforward
Yeah,
question.
straightforward question about anything.
Yeah, yes.
True. If Dr. Funsho, if you have any doubt, you can just ask.
You could also use the chat if you wanted.
If you want to, yes, you can use the chat box as well.
Yes.
Taking this opportunity when people are thinking and framing the question quickly, I would like to ask, can you expand more about eternity? What is that which is eternal at this point of time for everyone to understand? Is just the God which is eternal? Or what is eternal?
Well, when I think of the word eternal, thank you very much for the question. When I think of the word eternal, it's nothing physical, because everything that is expressed in matter is destructible. It's temporary. Eternity refers to something that is eternal, something that can never be destroyed. And when I think about that, my thoughts go to the energy. You cannot destroy energy. You can destroy matter, but you cannot destroy energy. Energy can only be transformed. And eternity has a very close relationship to consciousness. So the more my consciousness, the more my awareness is pure, in the understanding that I am not this physical body, which is temporary, then I am thinking without even realizing it in the mind, I'm having the mindset of what is eternal, what is immortal, what can never die. When I think negative, my mindset is really turned in the opposite direction. Okay? And that's not eternal. It can never be eternal, because the aspect of me that is eternal is what I will always have to go back to. I talked about the cycle of the months, or say the year, and Easter being the first season. Okay, so we're talking about a duration of time when we begin as pure beings of light. We live in a context of non-duality. There's no good, there's no bad, there's no right, there's no wrong. We do not need God because we are so pure. We're at the purest state of that, being that egg. And then we begin to forget that we are that wonderful being of light because we become aware of our bodies. We become aware that of this physical frame that we occupy. That's when we begin to turn our attention away from what is eternal. And when we begin to turn our attention away from what is eternal, there's a saying, where attention goes, energy flows. So if I turn my attention away from what is eternal, naturally, I'm going down into degradation. And what happens is that life is short-lived. My eternal nature in my mind is short-lived because I've forgotten that I'm that. My nature's become the outer form. And that's why I'm saying that is that we've taken on the consciousness. The body has become the mind. The mind is not in control anymore. It's the body that's in control. And that's where eternity does not live.
I just love this point that eternity doesn't live because when I became body conscious. So eternity itself is living. And when you have your attention on it, then you will derive the energy, eternal energy within you. That's
Yes,
wonderful.
yes.
But would you mind to also share about the journey, how you get into the spirituality and how you got introduced to this eternal knowledge?
Okay.
I'm
So,
sure it must be a long story, but to cut short, and we would love to listen.
yes, I will. So
Thank you.
I was actually really I was in quite a responsible job where I was working very long hours as well and managing difficult organizational issues where there were lots of reorganizations, people losing their jobs, and I had to manage that and so on. And over a period of time, I became very stressed. And I just felt I just wanted to stop doing all of that and just have some peace of mind. And I started looking at ways in which I could create space for me to have peace of mind. I could not get it out of my head that I wanted to have peace of mind. And I started kind of having dreams about this man coming to help me, to point me in the right direction, show me things of what I'd done wrong before and how I could change some of the ways I think and behave, etc. And it was over a long period of time. And then the last experience I remembered was when I was shown that oval shape, that light, and it was on the horizon of this massive ocean, and the lights were just spreading across the ocean floor. Amazing. It was just incredible. And I just wanted to go there, but it stopped. I came back into my body, and a few weeks later, very shortly afterwards, that was the last experience I had. A few weeks later, I received a letter from the Global Retreat Center. I didn't know about the Brahma Kumaris at all. And I received this letter inviting me to this weekend retreat on management, self-leadership. Apparently, they were headhunting senior managers in organizations to come to this retreat, that they were really focusing on organizational change, but one could use it for their own personal transformation. And somebody had given them my name, and I thought, BK inviting me to this place? No, this is not true. And so I was very suspicious, but I was so desperate to find that peace of mind. And it seemed as if it was offering me that. So I drove up to Oxford from London, and I was in so much doubt. I parked the car in the car park, left all my things there. And because remember, it was 3 days of not having to pay anything. It was a free retreat. And I parked my car in the car park and walked down to reception. And when I opened the door and looked in, I could feel the vibrations of peace. And the people who were managing the place, where they were just moving around like angels. And I just thought, oh dear, wow. So I rushed back to the car, got my things. And really, that weekend was the culmination of my own transformation. And one other thing I want to just quickly remind you, is that Daddy Janki, I met Daddy Janki on that retreat. She came for the last session. And I was sitting there. They told us to sit in meditation. I had my eyes closed. I was sitting at the end of the row. And there was a kind of a little corridor in between that went onto the stage. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, the energy has changed in here. What's going on? What are they up to now? Because I'd had so many beautiful, amazing, magical experiences. It was like I couldn't take anymore. I was thinking, what are they up to now? So I opened my eyes and I looked around. It was Daddy Janki standing there with her arms in front of her, just looking amazingly serene. And what I could feel was that rays of light energy was just coming from her, wafting the place. And I thought, oh my gosh, honestly, I just thought, this is crazy. This place is just amazing. She walked onto the stage and she sat there and she gave us drishti for about 6-7 minutes. There were about 100 people in that conference hall because it was a big retreat of people from corporate organizations and so on. And I looked at her and I thought, oh my gosh, I want to be like you. That was what I remembered saying, I want to be like you. And I went back to London, finished the retreat, went back to London and signed up to do the Raj Yoga meditation course. So Daddy Janki really gave a lot to me. She was living in London, not far from where I was living. I would see her every day. And Sister Jayanti, those two, Sister Maureen, and all the other seniors around, they really gave me a lot of sustenance to be where I am now. And actually, I knew then when I met Daddy Janki, I could not have spoken about anything spiritual. I was a speaker in an organization, but I could only talk about organizational things. Things are very intellectual things, not spirituality. So I've come a long way. Yes. Thank you for asking, sister.
Would you please also share how old is the age of your body and about your family?
Well,
because you are practicing spirituality, did your family support?
Yeah, well, actually, when I'm 73 now, and when I became a BK, I was already living a life. I was living alone, so it was very easy for me to really take up the practice. I was living alone, and I have a large extended family, and they really support me in what I do. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Nice to listen. Anything that you want to share?
I've always wanted to serve in the capacity that I am serving now. It's an amazing how Baba finds us and touches our hearts and awakens us. Because my fertilization started when I began to think, I don't want to do this anymore, what I was doing. I want peace of mind. And of course, what happened was I was, for some reason, moved in the right direction. Then Daddy Janki came. And, it wasn't what she said, it's what I saw of her. And it's the drishti that she gave me that ignited my inspiration even further to do what I'm doing. And of course, just really I was living also close to the Brahma Kumaris, finally. Initially, I wasn't, and it wasn't easy coming to class, but it was such a burning desire to learn and to reach a stage where I could serve in the capacity that I felt I wanted to serve in, that I made it so that I moved closer to Global Corporation House in order to really be able to have that easy access. So at the moment, I'm living just about 25 minutes walk from Global House. It's really quite close. And as a result of the COVID-19 lockdown, we're doing most of our service activities at home. And so I teach the Raj Yoga meditation course. I read the Murlis to new students. And we have an online project where we do a weekly theme on a particular topic. And we have these daily broadcasts slots. And then on a Sunday, it culminates into a 30-minute conversation. I'm involved in a global oneness project where we put on an online international program once every 3 months or once every 4 months? Every quarter. Yes, so I'm doing that, and there's so much to do. And it's like we're running our centers from home now. That's going on a lot. We're running. So Baba's told us that we need to turn our home into little centers.
Excellent.
And that's an egg.
Mm-hmm.
That's an egg.
True, very true. Thank you so much. Last but not the least, just out of inquisitiveness, you are in UK and you are a British citizen, but we really feel that you belong to Nigeria. Maybe because of the color of the skin, but any of your forefathers or somebody.
The connection, actually, Sister Gotami, really, you are touching something very, very, very soft and sacred to my heart. Yes, I discovered that both of my parents, their ancestors are from Ghana. Ashanti, and there's another tribe whose name I know, but I can't pronounce it properly, so I don't think it will mean anything to you. But I've been to Ghana twice, and I've never been to Nigeria, but I actually stopped whilst in transit at the airport. That's the earliest, that's the closest I've been to Nigeria, actually. But yes, I'd love to serve in Nigeria if it really occurs that way. Yeah.
Thank you, Sister Nina.
Yes.
Yes, virtually you have already visited, and it's just physically that you have to visit.
Oh, indeed, absolutely.
You saw the flowers of Nigeria, but they mostly are Indian, but they can grow anywhere. So
Yes,
with this, you can understand that Nigeria is a place that can adapt things very easily. They have this power of transformation. They have this power to recognize the truth, and they have this power to accept the truth.
thank
So it
you.
makes easy for all of us to speak straightly about the truth and about eternity,
Yes,
about purity, even about purity as well.
yes, yes, yes.
So we have Brother Kinua all the way from Liberia. Brother Kinua, would you like to share? Welcome. It's nice to see you after a very long time. Happy Easter.
Om Shanti.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti, brother.
Nice to see you too.
Very, thank you. Thank you for, I'm very pleased to meet you.
So I'm here in Liberia.
Yes. And you attend these sessions. So how far is Liberia from Nigeria?
Well, by flight, I think it's about 2 hours.
Okay. So it's quite a distance, isn't it? Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can also go by bus, maybe
Yeah.
a day or two, maybe 2
Right.
days, I think.
Yes.
Brother Kinua, you may please share how the lockdown was there.
Actually, surprisingly, there is almost no lockdown here. There's hardly been any COVID here. Well,
Oh,
there
really?
was a total of about 85 deaths. And people, it's almost like people here have forgotten about COVID. Nobody even talks about it. So kind of, we've
It's
been lucky
wonderful.
that way.
I
Wonderful.
think in this term, Africa is blessed because I get the same report from other parts of Africa. Same here in Nigeria, Lagos, especially the locals, they are very good in their stamina. So I think COVID has not much effect on
Wonderful.
Nigerian bodies. But
Wonderful.
yes, Indians have to be very careful.
Yeah, even here at first, actually the most affected is a bit of Lebanese community and Indian community. Those are the ones who, but that was last year. There's almost been no cases this year. So people have gone back to their life.
Excellent.
Yeah, but I actually come from Kenya, so I do hear there are cases there, but here it's fine.
Lovely. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Nice to see you, and thank you for sharing, Brother Kinua.
Thank you, Brother Kinwa.
Welcome. It's good to meet you, all of you.
Thanks to everybody. Just to inform that the coming Sunday, next weekend, same time, Sunday special talk, we're going to have a very interesting guest. That person is none other than the one who always comes with Sister Shivani in interviewing her, asking questions.
Lovely.
First, and he is our divine brother, Suresh Oberoi. So he will share his journey, the story of his journey in his voice. We will listen. Now, I request Sister Nina to guide us into meditation.
Om Shanti. So, focusing my attention inwards to that eternal point of light that I am, allowing the body to rest and allowing the mind to become quiet as I focus my attention on my breathing. As I connect with that inner light that I am, this point of infinitesimal light, I become the detached observer. I become the detached observer of everything around me, everything around me that is comprised of matter. I even detach my attention from the inner thought processes, and I'm simply aware of the breath flowing in through my nostrils and flowing out again. And in this state of awareness, I go deeper into stillness and into silence. And as I go deeper into silence, the light within me of I, the soul, becomes less subtle, becomes brighter. As the stillness within my consciousness sets in, and then I begin to focus my attention on a tiny thread of luminous light stretching from the center of the forehead far into infinity and connects with the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. That light that is my parents, my mother, my father, from which I, the soul, was birthed. And as I focus my attention on this luminous thread of light, connecting I, the soul, with the Supreme Soul, I go even deeper into stillness. And I become aware that I am this orb of light. I become this orb of light, this subtle, tiny, yet pulsating orb of light. Floating around in infinity. And there are other orbs of light, some brighter, some dimmer, but they're orbs of light nevertheless. And in this awareness, I've focused on expanding this orb of light out into the world. And as I do that, gradually, the planet becomes an orb of light, a luminous orb of light. And as I focus my attention on building this orb of light, I also become aware that I am expanding my consciousness, and not just my consciousness, but I am spreading peace and all those qualities and virtues that are innate to the soul out into the world. And in this moment, I see myself as a lighthouse, donating light and might to all those around me, and to the world. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you so much for that wonderful moments of quietness and eternal experience. I think it has been very nice, and I'm not going to leave you. This is not going to be last. I'm very good thief, and I really take theft of your time in the future. And we have good amount of gatherings like this. Today it has been very small, but otherwise it is really very good gathering. But I'm sure this particular Zoom is not eternal, but it is recorded and it is going live on YouTube, and that has become eternal. YouTube means eternal. So up until we don't delete, everything is there. So there are people who would watch in their convenient time and who would listen to this. Thank you so much to everyone. A special thanks to our guest speaker, Sister BK Nina Bookman, all the way from UK, for throwing so much light on this today's topic, eternal Easter egg. We will certainly meet on the Sunday special talk on the upcoming Sunday, 4 a.m. Lagos. Om Shanti.
Thank you.
Om
Thank you.
Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.